Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Sunset Cove. It's 8 by 8 inches, and boy, I painted this a while back. It was May, like middle of May. That's, it's not extremely long time ago. And I was rolling along pretty good at that time. The fact of the matter is I've been far less prolific lately than usual, but you'll never notice because of backlog. Like I've been sitting on this, and I really like this painting. I've been looking at it in my studio for a while, and there was a lot of things I wanted to accomplish with this one. I want to see if I can actually pull it up so I can, because we're looking at the early stages. But while I'm looking for it, let's talk about what's going on. We're painting on hardboard. There are 2 coats of transparent gesso there, so it's not like I'm painting on nothing at all. It could seem like it. A lot of times that color will really support me. Recently, I've started kind of painting on some other sorts of colors, like burnt sienna, which is always a favorite of mine, and also a tone that's like a raw umber. And this, I kind of approximate the. There we go. I got that image open. I kind of approximate the masonite color out to, or hardboard masonite. That's the brand name. Out to kind of a. It's a burnt umber, raw umber. It's actually got a lot more saturation and color than the board I've been painting on. If you look at the last couple videos, you'll see that tone, and that's been very successful. I'm really pleased with the way this painting came out. As usual, it had my my usual array of goals I'm trying to accomplish. And you might ask, what are those, Mike? Well, for the number one is we want to make an attractive painting. Number 2 is we want to make an expressive and artistic statement about the landscape, in this case, seascape. Now, to do that means that we need to have a little bit of planning, but we don't want to get all locked up too tight. Oh, you know what? So I did this just as a little aside. I had a tube of a color called sepia, I think from Rembrandt. I bought it to me about 2-3 years ago, and I thought, oh, what's up with this? Why am I not using this? It's a really cool color. That's why. Now you see why. It dried like that. So fortunately, I think that was even a couple days later, I just hit it with some oil, linseed oil, and kind of brought the darker color back. But it went way too matte and dull, way too fast. So it was out. It's out in Z. I may as well just throw it away if I haven't done already. Lots of times I'll just give those to students, and they like to have paints in their box. Anyway, I'm happy with the. That's Alfie, guarding the house. Anyway, and distracted me from my mission. All right, other goals. Keep it fresh. Well, we want it fresh. To keep it fresh, you can't overwork it, right? So that's why it's good to have some sort of plan, and it's always a loose plan with me. I'm not into the tight plan with many steps. I like a big plan with lots of big steps that can where all the particular details of whatever's going on can be modified appropriately according to what's going on. This painting, I had like this kind of dusky thing in mind, and you can see that in the colors I've mixed in the sky. I mean, we have purples, but they're very dusky, very dull, but beautiful, I think. And that was directly working off and tying off the tones I wanted in the greens. Now, it might look like sort of same greens are happening all the time, but there's so many subtle variations and modifications to every color. And a lot of what we do or should do, I should say, as landscape painters is essentially take these extremely bright and chromatic colors that are coming out of the tube, and we've got to moderate those. That's job one. And now I've talked about everything on my channel myriad times, but let's get into it again. So what are my strategies for that? Well, for getting that natural feel in the color, right? I have one color that's on my palette almost exclusively for that job, and that's raw umber itself. Now, raw umber, as far as colors go, it's very transparent. It's a wonderful color in that it kind of sidles between red and green. I think depending on the brand, it can lean a little more greenish But I call that my warm color killer. Now, you could say warm color modifier, whatever you want to say. I call it color killer because it's taking that real strident, extreme chromatic aspect of the color and knocking it down into a more natural place. And the nice thing about raw umber is, since it is so transparent, it doesn't have a huge payload. It comes in and kind of does its dulling job and doesn't mess with things too much. So it's very useful. And for that reason, frankly, it's desert island color. It's one of, if I had to limit my palette down to, maybe 7 essential colors, it would be in the mix for sure. Next color killer is black, right? Ivory black. Now, ivory black serves lots of different purposes on my palette. The primary purpose is to make my my green, which I call Mike's green. I just had to pause for a second. I saw a little error. Actually, what I saw was some of the stuff that goes direct to the members area, which is eliminated from these 15-minute videos. And that's color mixing session for one. Second, an initial session at the front of every video where I've got the reference up on my screen and I'm talking about the challenges I see coming and some of my ideal solutions. And both of those can be very helpful to a painter starting out that wants to just get some inside information from a professional artist, that has been doing it a while. Anyway, black, yeah, job one is make the green, and that's usually I keep a big pile on my palette of what I call Mike's green, and that is made, this is a book. If you don't have the book, get the book. I just got a couple orders this morning when I got up, and so happy I am to ship that anywhere on the planet. $60 U.S. international shipping included. I'm holding the line, and I'll continue to hold the line until maybe the printing costs to go up. You know how it is. We're all dealing with it. Anyway, I'm holding the line. So get it now. If you were thinking, oh no, I'm going to wait. Don't wait too long, because much as I'd hate to do it, one day I may be trolling it out at 70. And it's a limited sort of item. It's signed and numbered. I'm the one getting them printed, and I'm only getting 100 printed at a time. No, 50. Sorry, not even that. I wish I had enough money to get 100 printed at a time. I'd make $2 more on a book or something like that. Anyway, back into the black. So making that green is its primary job, but its strong and very important secondary job is the cool color killer. So a lot of times in the say the blue in the sky, I'll either add the raw umber to that blue mixture if I want a warmer feel, or I'll add the ivory black for a cooler feel. Either way, you've got to add something. You can't just be trolling your blue out with white and blue, and if you are doing that, stop doing that. You want to modify that. Now, say you're working with a limited palette. Well, when I'm working with a limited palette, my limited palette, first of all, will have black in it, and I can use that black to make me some sort of raw umber equivalent. I could also make a raw umber equivalent with the other mixtures, but I will actually mix a pile of a raw umber equivalent. I will mix a pile of a burnt sienna. I will mix a pile of all of these or analogs to my normal palette when working with a limited palette. So the idea is the same. And that idea, now you could also say, blue, I want to kill the blue. I mean, you could add some, you could get real tricky with the complementary color theory and start adding bits of orange. But the problem with that is, like orange and blue, they make an ugly brown gray. Now, in some ways, shapes, or forms, that color could be just the thing you want, say in a brownish cloud or something like that, where you don't want a lot of clear, clean color. But for the most parts, the complementaries mixed with their their twin, their complementary twin, or it's not so much a twin, it's an analog, right? They don't give you a very pretty color. Mix yellow and purple, depending on the pigments. Now, I will say now, it gets us right. Yeah, it's great. It gets us right next back into the secret color killer. The secret color killer is white. White always kills your colors. Sometimes you can use that strategically. Of course, we know it's going to lighten as well. So it's not exclusively a color killer, but it always kills your colors. So it's good to remember that, especially there may be an application in your scene where you have too much chroma and it's a light color, yeah, white would be the way. And a lot of times when I bring in white, oh, you're getting members area type tips right here. When I bring in the white, I'm always bringing in a bit of some other color, usually some yellow, maybe yellow ochre, maybe cad yellow, or very often, depending, say, these creamy tones in the sky, raw umber is going to be a big factor there, you know. So those are the three colors that I use to kill color on their own. But you know, lots of times there'll be things on your palette, and you can use a little bit of this or that that's laying around to do that. The thing is that you want to have natural and harmonious color. Now, when I say, you know, another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration, when I tonalism, you might go. Some people go, well, what is that? Well, in short, it's basically harmony, right? It's tonal harmony. It's harmony. It's not just color harmony, because tone is not just color. Tone is also value. And I can make a tonal painting with two colors, black and white, all day long, because it's a sort of restraint that is going to be working its way through all of the colors that are represented in your image, the colors and values. Now, some painters find it very valuable to separate value discussion from color discussion, and I do think it's helpful to think of them as two separate aspects of painting. But safe with all the stuff we're doing here, I am mixing my color and value at the same time always. Now, the way I work is like I work with a underpainting, but some artists will do like a value sort of study, and then put their color into that. Well, it's a totally legitimate and valid way of working. I have to say that no matter which way you choose, it's good to find something that is in line with your goals as a painter, and your personality. And we all going to have different approaches. So on this channel, I give you my approach, and I have been doing that we're going to be on 10 years soon. I don't know when. I really need to look that up when I started rolling out the 100 Days of Tonalism. That was, I think it was 2014, but it might have been 2015. Anyway, if you hear me say 10 years, that's what I mean. I've been here sharing information for 10 years now. Obviously, I'm way better than I was 10 years ago, but I wasn't bad 10 years ago. And you may find that too. If you're, maybe you haven't been painting long, but you do some okay stuff, and there's another painter asking you questions. Don't hesitate to teach them what you know. Don't say, well, I don't really know, I'm not very good. Just say, well, I have learned this, I've learned that. What are some of the things I'd lay on a painter starting out? Start with a limited palette. Don't, that big giant box of paints that grandma gave you in her inheritance. Hang on to those. Those could be super useful for you at some point in the future. But if you're just starting out, get yourself a blue. I like phthalo, but you could do ultramarine, black, white, all quality. Yeah, in fact, I would recommend you just go for like cad yellow, the actual cad yellow, the expensive one. And there you could go. You could either go alizarin crimson or you could go cad red. And there you got your ivory black and then titanium white, and that's another good place to spend some money on a good white. A lot of the real cheap tubes of not just oil painting white, but I've seen it with some of the tubes my students have brought in of these exceedingly cheap paints you'll see in the discount store. They don't have much pigment in them. It's a false economy. Your logic might be, well, I'm not very well off and I can't afford this and that, so I can work with this tube. It's a false economy because you're going to struggle. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something from it. And until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble, and God bless you and your family. Fight the power.